Welcome everyone to the LEC post-game lobby. I'm Sjokz and I am joined by Sheepy and by Jankos. And I just wanted to say, Jankos, that no worries whatsoever. I got it!
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for fighting my spear. I threw it a little bit too far there on the bot lane, so I'm grateful that you caught it.
It's okay. I have some more ideas for it, but I'm going to give it away for a second so that I just don't have to hold it the whole. I think that your analyst, Lucy, Angel Archer, she tweeted like the official stats. I think she counted them. She said it was a 48% success rate on the spears, which is pretty good, I guess.
But I just want to say that if I don't throw any spears, except for when the hard CC lands and I can hit every spear, I will have 100% accuracy with about, 15 spears a game. So I feel like it's better to throw more spears, and even if it's a 50-50, because keep in mind, spear is not on the one who throws it, it's on the one who dodges it. So every time you get hit by a spear, unless it's a Headhunter Nidali skin, which is OP by the way, you are boosted, or like you just don't have a mouse.
Yeah.
So it's not about me missing them, it's just about the players that you play against not being good enough to dodge them. So I suppose on LEC we have a lot of good players, at least like 50%, 52% of the time they are good.
You should be a politician. That was a great explanation. I feel like you can't win, Jankos. Listen, I know they always say that supports have a hard time, but you can't win. You know, you play phenomenal tank junglers, and then all of a sudden, that's all you can do. You put yourself out there and you play Lee Sin and Nidalee that have some skill shots, and then if you don't get 100%, it's always bad. I mean, you're just being straight up bullied, no?
I will just blink twice.
In all seriousness, let's talk a bit about this game, match of the week. Schalke 04 has always been a tricky one for G2 in recent memory. This time around, not so much though. What was it about your composition or your play that you were able to beat them so handily today?
Well, I just believe that the last time we faced Schalke, we gave up, a lot of very strong champions like the Udyr in 4-5, like the TF, like the Rel, like the Kai'Sa. This time, though, they were red side and they didn't have as much luck, so we kind of created a draft where we were also comfortable playing, and we kind of knew that our champions are equally as strong or stronger than the draft they have. So I actually don't know what their win condition is in this game. I feel like they got slightly outdrafted. I feel like they really have to count on like a really good team fights, but we do have Senna with infinite scaling. And then I do think Julius was playing quite well, catching me in this team fights, right? Like every scan of flash ult was on me, and I was actually quite triggered at some point. I started out-shotting that like it felt so personal that he ult me only. But he did not have any other targets, so I can see why. But it was a fun game, definitely. I think that we also played a better game. Except for the draft being better, I also think we played a better game than we used to play against Schalke last time. And I'm looking forward to next week for a revenge and rematch against Fnatic.
Do you think you guys are now fixed with all the draft issues? Because I think in Fnatic, like, you guys also didn't pick the best champions. I felt like at that time you didn't quite figure out the meta. Would you like agree to that?
Well, I feel like we still have a long way, and next week is the next patch, 11.4, so it's hard to expect what is going to be the best and what's going to be maybe slightly weaker. On top of that, we have Grabs as a coach, so you can never be sure about drafts.
That is sure. And also we have a big patch change coming up. We have 11.4, I mean, especially for the jungle, right? Yesterday, we had a little bit of a chat with Zanzara. I don't know if you caught it, a very avid Skarner player. We asked him about the changes, particularly, of course, the nerf to the jungle XP and gold to the monsters. And he said he didn't think it was going to make the biggest difference, but that we would see tank junglers come back into the meta a lot more. Do you agree with this view? And how do you think that the changes are going to change the jungle meta?
Well, I also think that the meta suits it, because you see stuff like Corki, especially, well, Astralis, they play Skarner. Corki makes sense. They just play for late game. But basically, it just fits teams that either need to make picks because they kind of can't play like great macro, so they first pick Skarner and they hope that like he can get flash ult, or it fits teams that rely heavily on like Azir Corki. So I do think tanks are way better with these constant damage mid laners and like strong AD carries that can kind of carry the game. But yeah, the patch 11.4, I don't think it's gonna matter that much. I do see I mean, for some reason, Europe really likes Skarner, and I don't really see it in any other region. And I do think that the champion is fine, but picking it so early, well, just allows your enemy composition to counter it. And then, like Zanzara said, if you pay your taxes, you will most likely be safe from Skarner. So I feel like the meta will probably not shift too much next week. And as soon as people figure it out in about 2 weeks' time, I think maybe we'll see like a little bit more tanks. But then again, I just don't feel like these champions are that powerful. Maybe some Jarvan, definitely more Udyr, but Udyr is already like 100% presence.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more Skarner in Europe. Maybe some Hecarim if you consider him a tank, even though he's more of a bruiser skirmisher. So, I mean, jungle is pretty strong still. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, it does look like it. I think it was the stories of the demise of jungle were heavily overblown with 11.4. It's going to be just fine. What I'd like to know about the team as it is now is in relation to how you adjust to patches and how you can be creative on patches. We know that that has been a trait of G2 historically, you know, finding the right things. I mean, Mickey just threw out the Scion, for instance, ended great. How do you think this iteration of your roster is capable of fast adapting to the new patches and maybe even catching teams off guard?
So I just want to add on that it was me who actually said he should pull out his famous Scion. He got kind of pressured by me.
Okay.
He wanted to play something else, but I was like, make it! And then he picked Scion. So I think it's credit to me, all the credit.
Okay.
But he played well, of course. And then as for our team, feeding the meta or maybe finding new picks or maybe doing something like crazy that we used to in 2019, I feel like we don't play as much meta as people do in Europe right now, right? We don't really play stuff like Azir. We don't play that much of Kai'Sa Samira team compositions. You know, we try to pick more Nidalee, which doesn't happen that often as well, and you know, make success there. But I feel like we are aware of what people play in Europe, and we have decent answers for that. And we always play like what we believe is the strongest, right? And then if someone beats us, be it in playoffs or in the league regular season, we always say that it's draft and not our players, because of course we have the best players,
Right.
and it can never be the players. It has to always be the coach in the draft. So, but then we can maybe adapt our draft, and then that way we also change the style of how we are playing, and that way we can be better. So, yeah, I mean, if the meta changes to being tank focused, I feel like my Jarvan was really washed up last week. I mean, yesterday actually. So I hope that you know, I can actually become good again on tanks. And if the meta doesn't change and we still have to play carries and we, you know, have this Lucian Echo mid lane and we keep playing Senna, Jhin, whatever, I feel like we'll still be a strong team.
Back to Sejuani. Woo.
Yeah, I think overall your drafts are really
no.
unique, by the way. You picked Renekton Rice blind, like on one game, and the next game you are like preferring Nidalee really heavily. I feel like your drafts are not really set in stone, or you're adapting them for every enemy. Or your priorities change really quickly. What can you say to that?
Well, we just pick whatever we feel like is the best in the game. Today, I just felt like Nidalee can be good, so we just kind of picked it. Yesterday, maybe we felt like we need the Rice Renekton to have like a safer early game. But yeah, we basically adapt to our opponents, and we also try to steal picks away, right? It's not only... The thing is that I feel like our players most of the time play every champion. So if we feel like enemy team is super comfortable on one style of playing, we can also kind of match their style and steal their champions. So then we kind of beat them at their own game, which feels really good.
The extra disrespect is just needed. It's the G2 style.
I get it, the extra salt. All right, let's talk a bit about the standings and about the state of the league, because there's been some changes this week. Some teams really stepping up when it was most important, particularly SK and Astralis. Crucial wins for them. Sheepy, what did you think about particularly those two teams and how they are ramping up?
I mean, SK really flew under the radar for me. I didn't expect them to play that well. Treats obviously pop-up performance on the Jarvan. I mean, I'm really excited about the bot lane right now. I didn't expect that at all. And then the last team fight, we saw that actually all of them are playing well. Like everybody mattered in that fight. Aatrox, you know, popped off. So yeah, I think SK played really well. And Astralis is actually showing signs of life, and I'm very happy about that too. I think that organization, you know, previously Origin, now Astralis, is somebody that I always thought can contest for the best. I think they have the backup for that. They have the financing. They have the vision from Ben as well. So yeah, I was happy that they are picking up games, but the league is so stacked right now, so it's really difficult to see if they can actually win, you know, against the very, very top.
Yeah, Jankos, when you look at the middle of the pack, what team do you kind of have your eye on that you think could actually make a really good run for and maybe in the playoffs?
So, for playoffs, middle pack, I don't even know SK players well. I don't even know who plays there. Like, I mean, I don't want to sound too arrogant, which sounds super
You don't
arrogant,
have to
right?
put
But, like,
yourself, just name a team.
Why did you do that to yourself, Jankos?
Okay. So I think SK Gaming, because like last team fight, they're playing so well, and I feel like they can bounce back.
Yeah, I mean,
And
Jankos.
also as Chalice, because they have Promiscue, and he's playing very well.
And you learn from the best at Worlds, right?
And, yeah, SK especially, you know, the marksman, what's his name again, Jankos? For SK?
Jizu.
Yeah, Jesu, yeah, okay. Just
Jizu,
that- No.
And Trees on the bot lane, of course. The
You
Jarvan
do
and the
know.
Kalista, very impressive gameplay.
You do. I mean, you don't need to know their names to beat them, right? That's the way that works. The ego is just out of control.
I mean, it's not the ego, it's just that when you prepare for a team weekly, you focus on that team, right? So this week I had to focus on Schalke and the other team. And next week we have to focus on Fnatic and whoever we play except for Fnatic, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of take it week by week and game by game, right? So today I'm in the mood for Schalke. Yesterday I was in the mood for Astralis. Next week on you know, whatever day we play, whatever team, I will just be thinking about that team. So we take it, you know, we care mostly about ourselves and we kind of want to improve ourselves, right? Because I think Rogue is also a very strong team.
Yeah.
And it feels like even Fnatic did beat us, right, and Schalke, so we just kind of want to make sure that in playoffs we are a strong team, so we focus on ourselves.
Yeah, good recovery. I was throwing you under the bus a little bit there. It's totally understandable. You need to focus on the teams that you're actually playing. It's very logical, Jankos. Let's take a look at the Kia Player of the Game leaderboard. In fact, Armut is in first. Man, he has the Turkish fan base. He has the Spanish Mad Lions fan base, the general fan base. They're all voting for him, but he's also absolutely killing it. And Reckless and Hansama are there also, I mean, shared first place. And the ties will be broken by the percentage of votes if it comes to that. No Jankos though. But speaking of Reckless, Jankos, how's it going with Martin number, I guess, is he 4? What number is he? Who knows?
I mean, speaking of the leaderboard, I don't see a single jungler being there.
True.
Is it that jungle is actually a weak role and Riot made a mistake by nerfing the role in 11.4 and junglers will be even weaker next patch? That is crazy. We do see 2 marksmen and we also see a support, mid laner and a top laner. So every other role is represented,
Yeah.
but jungle is not.
No.
Wow. I mean, I guess it was Riot's decision to nerf jungle. And about Reckless and Martin 1, yeah, I mean, he's doing very well, I think.
Yeah, he is. You should have your own agenda to push. No?
Yeah, but in the
Also,
end, he
is
answered
it, you
that
know, is
question.
it the chicken or the egg? We actually had a discussion on Reddit Check about which role is the stacked in Europe, and marksman or bot lane actually won that with like an insane amount of votes from the public at home, and jungle was even like had like 2 votes or something out of the 1,000. So yeah, it's about the players playing the role perhaps, and not about the role.
I mean, we are like kind of getting like gapped, you know, every time we go to Worlds.
Oh God.
So I'm not that surprised, but this year is gonna be different.
Okay. Well, look, I mean, you know, I have it in my back pocket, right? The monologues are just going to be about not the European teams. I finally figured it out what I'm going to do. Anyway, let's take a look at the games that we've got coming up next week on the schedule. As said, G2 Fnatic, but that is on day 2, the match of the week. And a bunch of very important clashes for the middle of the pack. Sheepy, I mean, immediately like Excel, Misfits, for instance, in there. Astralis up versus Fnatic, which is, again, such a difficult one. They have a really, really tough strength of schedule. But I do have the feeling that we leveled up a bit in terms of the level of games we've seen this week.
Yeah, I mean, for Fnatic, this game is really important just to start out with a win. They should win this game, and after an 0-2 series, like, I think all of them are taking the loss pretty hard. Mad Lions SK for me is like the other match of the week because I think Mad Lions showed really a lot of strength this week, and SK obviously too. So I think those two really have to like battle it out. Who's the better or the best middle of the pack team?
Yep, and we have G2 is up versus Vitality then, and Vitality actually took down Fnatic just yesterday, Jankos. So are you going to be extra careful next week?
Definitely. I mean, I think that both Vitality and Fnatic will play next week are strong teams. I mean, well, Vitality is like last place. But we used to scrim them a lot before the split started, and they have been actually winning a lot of games against us when we didn't practice and we started practicing. So maybe it was like the circumstances, or maybe they were just like off-season peakers. But they did win a lot of scrims, so we thought they are going to be a good team, and now they're last, so maybe they're not so good. But we still respect them, and we'll try our best. And then when we face Fnatic, we really want to secure that win. At the same time, though, like Sheepy mentioned, they did go 0-2 this week. And I feel like after such a kick in the butt, you will most likely perform much better because you will actually try to fix your mistakes. I think Selfmade tweeted something about their practice going badly, so I'm sure they will try extra hard this week. And I think that could be a very exciting game as well.
Yeah, I think that's a very good read on that. They are the type of players to come back with a vengeance after a week of practice, and especially versus G2. Fantastic. Thank you for talking to us. Jankos, I have a bit of an idea for the PGL Selfie because we have a ton already from you in PGL Selfie. So I have an idea. Are you down to play ball and try it?
Play ball? Yeah,
Well,
sure.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it means, okay, we're
You're
going to try
great at
things.
throwing spears, we
Yeah,
already
okay,
know.
so
but can you
basically,
catch them?
Sheepy is going to take the picture, and then my idea is to take the spear, and then you have to dodge it, all right? But let's see what that looks like.
Wait.
Yeah, I say, okay,
How
so
do I-
do you know what I mean? So I'll be like this, but you have to dodge it. You know, okay, what?
Like,
Yeah, like that. That's actually
like
perfect.
dodging it? Like,
Yeah, you are like this.
like, no, don't hurt me, don't hurt me.
I got it.
There
Perfect.
we get it. All right, perfect. Thank you so much. A little bit of a twirl. Thank you very much, Jankos, for talking to us. We'll see you next week.
Well, yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. All right, fantastic. That was all from us here tonight with that amazing photo. Be sure to tune in to the LCS and Cloud9 versus Dignitas. We'll be back on next week, Friday, for more League of Legends. See you then. Thank you to production for always letting me do all the silly things that pop into my head. And see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The shutdown comes out. I'm not sure Astralis wanted to go. Oh my God! That is the dirtiest thing I think I've seen in weeks from Astralis. It looked like they didn't need to take the fight, but they were out for blood. Blood for the blood god! Astralis get an ace in the bottom lane.
The recall's coming out from Modo. Standing Light is available. He'll cancel it. Ultimate comes down
one's
from outside.
crowning, other one's crowning.
Manages to get the taunt. Flash knocked backwards from Larson. That was beautiful. And there's a double kill for Larson on the Azir. With one more dragon to go. That's a 25-minute mountain soul. Neon takes a gigantic.
Oh, there it is again.
Happens again. Oh,
That is beautiful!
the snipe from downtown.
And the emotes.
To taxi away to safety, but Upset's got damage. He's managing to put it down onto Kaiser. The exhaust bought so much time. Here comes Armut. That's
Mega
a wild
Dog.
rush. He does it again. Armut finds Upset, and Humanoid sends him to the fountain. 2 quick kills for the Mad Lions, and Kazi, with the help of Armut and the rest of the Mad Lions, run down Fnatic. They ace Fnatic and turn for the base.
I'm kind of an Aatrox main myself, so
So what choose? The base call comes out as well. In goes Tinks, and look at the slaves coming out. It's going to land on the 3 members. Tinks dives onto the back line once again. Vander's ready for Jezu. Then here comes Himmet. Kobe's still alive. Opening up Himmet, pops a stopwatch. It's all on Vander to try and get in. And he manages to keep Kobe alive.